Yesterland Farm is a hybrid farm and amusement park. Located in Canton, Texas, which is roughly an hour east of Dallas, Yesterland Farm felt unlike any other amusement park I've ever visited, and that goes back to its roots. Originally opening in 2000 as the Canton Christmas Tree Farm, the 32-acre farm originally offered just Christmas trees and complimentary hay and barrel train rides. In 2005, the park expanded their offerings with a pumpkin patch for the fall season and a few amusement rides. Then in 2011, the park purchased an additional 10 acres and realized they were much more than just a Christmas tree farm at this point, so they renamed themselves Yesterland Farm. I visited for their Christmas Playland event, but they also run a few other seasonal events including Bunny Palooza in the spring, a fall festival around pumpkin picking season, and spooktacular nights around Halloween. The park also offers summer fun days, but their hours are definitely more restricted than your usual amusement park, so definitely check their calendar in advance if you want to visit. Let's start with the park's appearance. As the name suggests, this place is a farm, so don't expect any paved walkways. You're walking on grass and dirt. And since I visited during their Christmas event, the park had some inflatables and decorations set up throughout the park. But since they're only open during the daylight hours, this is a rare Christmas event without any lights. The park has a small free admission area in the front of the park with the Christmas tree farm and a general store. To access the section with the rides, you need to purchase a wristband. There is no pay per ride option. If I remember correctly, it cost me roughly $25 for unlimited rides. This place feels like a permanent carnival. Most of the rides are portable. In fact, the park advertises that you can rent their rides for events of your own. What other park does something like that? And many of these rides are small, very small. They occupy unbelievable tiny footprints. And many look homemade. I have no clue who the manufacturer was for a large chunk of the rides at this park, since they feel less refined than rides you'll find at your conventional amusement parks. Most of the rides are geared more towards kids, but a good chunk of them can comfortably fit an adult. In fact, you also have one of the wildest rides out there in the Super Gyrosphere. This ride looks innocent as it's under 10 feet tall, but it is an extremely intense and disorienting flat ride. I have a separate review going into more detail on this ride, but you can sort of tell this ride means business after you're strapped in by 5 different restraints. This is a small-scale version of the ABC Tourbillon rides that Six Flags added, but this ride is far more intense. You spin and invert non-stop, and I was out of my seat for a majority of the ride from the hang time and centripetal forces. The other ride I really enjoyed was the Mindwinder. This was a spinning ride that looked similar to the Wisdom Tornado rides you can find at parks and carnivals, except this was among the easiest rides I've ever ridden to spin. I got this ride spinning violently. Not only was I pinned against my seat back from the G's, but the tub I was riding in started tilting backwards as well. If you're a coaster enthusiast seeking credits, you're in luck. You'll find not one, but 2 different kiddie coasters here. The first can be found at the front of the park next to the Christmas trees, in Santa's Runaway Sleigh, a Mylar kiddie coaster. This is an older one, and it looks like it's in rough shape, especially when you see the seat backs falling off, but it's remarkably smooth for its age. The other kiddie coaster in the back of the park is not so smooth. Range, a Herschel Little Dipper, is brutal. In fact, the ride has a warning sign advising guests how rough it is. When a park does that, you know the ride is really bad. The ride looks like death, sounds like death, and rides like death. You ride in unpadded metal seats. Combine that with shaky track work, and you will take a beating on this ride. I have a separate review on this cow-themed torture device if you're interested. The staff at this park was among the most laid back I've ever seen. I don't mean that in a bad way. The staff just had a calm demeanor to them. They would socialize with guests while loading the attractions rather than prioritizing efficiency. It was a stark contrast to how corporate parks operate, but it worked for Yesterland Farm with the light crowds. I recorded all my POVs with an approved chest-mounted GoPro, but the park didn't seem to have an issue with people taking pictures and videos with their cell phones while the rides were going. Along with the aforementioned rides, there were a few additional activities towards the back of the park, including a sizable corn maze, a petting zoo, and a playground. The latter two seem to be particularly popular amongst kids. During my visit, I did not purchase any food, but there seemed to be a few stands in the park, mostly selling snacks. So do I recommend visiting Yesterland Farm? If you're on a theme park trip to Texas, I would recommend prioritizing the larger parks. But if you've already hit all those parks and you're looking for an extra coaster credit or two, Yesterland Farm is a nice place to spend an hour or two at. They have the 2 coasters I mentioned, a few notable flat rides, and a unique atmosphere. However, if you're a local and have young kids, I would definitely prioritize this place. Almost every ride is perfect for kids. Combine that with minimal lines, a friendly staff, and the bonus farm activities, and you have enough to fill an entire day. So those are my thoughts on Yesterland Farm, a hybrid amusement park and farm in Texas. Have you been there? What are your thoughts on this place? I would love to hear what you think down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate if you gave this video a like and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.